guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for, what is it, March 16th, I believe, 2025. So it is Sunday morning, and I'm tired, and I'm here. My brother woke me up. I don't think he thought I'd be still asleep, but the point is that I had some issues. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or the week before, but I had issues with my car. Maybe it happened anyway, where my phone wasn't connecting. Yeah, I guess I did talk about that. Anyway, so I went, way to go, Cooper. I went to the dealership to have them check it out, and was the cord, because the first cord I had was an Apple cord, and then the second one was a knockoff. So I switched back to an Apple cord. I paid for that, but my brother found a thing online where it would plug into the car, and then my phone could be loose, so I wouldn't have to deal with the cord cutting off the audiobook every time I jostled it. So it was a little bit more expensive than I wanted to pay for it, but he bought one to try in his car, and he didn't need it, so he's selling it to me. It was kind of a roundabout way, because I would have bought whatever he told me to buy, because I wasn't sure what I was going to get. Anyway, I think it solved the problem. We just put it in today, and worked fine, so we're in the test phases. But this week my car did let me listen to audiobooks. For the most part, there's a couple times where it cut out, but it was after I went to the dealership, it actually really worked. I think it was Tuesday I went. So yeah, I think so. I think I had a doctor appointment on Monday. Anyway, it was a really busy week beyond that, but my technical issues in the car, luckily, hopefully will be passed. We'll see how it goes this week. Work was hard with the, going to the other location. It's just, I'm not used to it. So it's really tiring. And this week is going to be worse because I got to go every day. So the mornings I'll go spend at the other location and then come back and do my stuff in the afternoon. So I'm going to be exhausted. So I don't expect to read quite as much as I did, or that I normally do, because I think I might be coming home and not being able to read physically, because I'll just be so tired. And my eye is still in the after effects of iritis, or inflammation of the eye, an iris kind of thing. Anyway, I'm still having trouble with that. It's not as bad, of course. I'm on medication, but sometimes it kind of fluctuates. Some days are better than others. And on the days where I'm driving a lot, it seems to not like that. Anyway, so it's going to be a really long week, I think, because again, the shop manager is out on vacation. He is out having fun on a cruise, but I have to go because he's not there to kind of watch things. I got to go in and do more work. Anyway, it'll be fine. It's just going to be a lot of driving back and forth. Hopefully they're going to give me a smaller truck. I didn't hear word back on Friday, but they didn't want to have me take the truck that I was going to take, because if I'm gone every day, then they don't have it available for our shop. So we'll see. I might get another truck. I'm kind of hoping so. I still hope it's smaller. If they give me another 250, I will not be happy. Anyway, F-250, Anyway, so that is my little intro. Other than that, I don't think there's much else that's been going on. I'm pretty, not much has happened. It's just March. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on, all the time, but nothing too much. So, I'm going to talk about the books that I read, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. I have been pretty successful with March Mystery Madness. I have pretty much given up on March of the Mammoths at this point. Every time I've tried to pick up a mammoth, my brain, I think it's because of the books that I picked. And I think that's my own fault. I was trying to be good and pick up books in genres that I don't read very often. And I thought, well, then I'll get some of these mammoths out of the way if I try them. And actually that just doesn't work for me. So I put the science fiction back on the shelf. I'm going to put the historical fiction back on the shelf. It's just, I try them and I go, they're not bad. I just don't want to read them right now. And I'm really into a mystery mood, which again, doesn't happen much. Even in the past, I used to read a lot of mysteries. I don't read quite as many anymore that are strictly mysteries, but right now I've really found my rhythm with a lot of different series and a lot of books. So I'm just going to keep going with that and reading other series books that I want to get to, that I need to get through. So, it's how it's going. So anyway, let's first talk about the DNFs. So I did get a couple library books and I tried them, and just, you know, it just doesn't always work. So I did mention these last week, so I thought I'd just bring them up. I did try Gate to Kagoshima by Poppy Kuroki. So there's nothing wrong with this. I think it was just me and what I wanted from it. It's kind of like Outlander, but in Japan. I didn't get to the part where she changed. I just got annoyed with the main character so soon, so quickly. I don't think it really was it's not a writing issue. I think it just, to me, I was already questioning things. And I had no inclination to pick up. I only got 20 pages. It's not like I gave it a big try. I'm not saying don't try this. I'm saying in the mood I was in, I tried this and I was like, no. So it'll go back to the library and I'm not going to worry about it. You know, if someday I come across it and I want to give it another shot, that's something else. Or I hear a lot of people talk about it, which I have not. Maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, it just did not call to me. And there were certain things about the beginning I didn't particularly like. I think there's still a good premise to it because, again, it's a young woman who, after her grandfather dies, she travels to Japan. She is from Scotland, and he is, so she's part Japanese. And so she goes there to try to find out if one of her relatives was in this major war action or something. And I just didn't like the way that she was there for schooling, but so she was on this little side trip to go to the town where she thought she would find more information. And it was just some of the interactions. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. But I think other people will like it. And I think if you want to, I think it's supposed to be kind of, she'll be going back in time. But I'm not a big time travel reader either. Like, that's not one of my buzzwords at all. I have a couple books that are time travel ones, and I have had some that have worked, but it's not a buzzword for me. Or, you know, like, so it's not a thing. The other book that I DNF'd from the library was The Rainfall Market by Yu Guan. This is translated by Slin Jun. So this, so this one was kind of a disappointment, like right off, because I looked at the back and I also, I looked at the description, and the thing it doesn't tell you is that the main female character, the character you're following, the female character, she is a teenager. And I'm not saying that this is like a YA issue. Again, I don't think it is a YA book. Like, I'm not saying that, or if it is, I don't know. Point is, I just didn't like being with that character and her age, on how she was thinking about things and what her choices were going to be through the book. I made it 68 pages in before I just didn't care. So this is talking about a market that only starts in the, this is a Korean translated work, a market that comes during the rainy season. So you send in to, an address, you send a letter saying, what you would want to change about your life. And then you can go to this market to make changes and it'll change your life, kind of thing. And she writes her letter about her life and the things she wants to change. And she gets a ticket. And then she goes, and it's it isn't an adventure of her just discovering stuff about herself. I think there's still going to be so many people who will enjoy this. I think my problem is I didn't go into it knowing that the main character who is going to be doing this was a teenager, and some of her teenage problems with that. And I guess to me that just ruined it for me, because I was looking for something, again, I was looking at an adult, like looking at it and wanting those kind of problems. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Again, as I said, I just lost interest after 68 pages. I just didn't care, especially when she started thinking about things she wanted to change and how her life could be different. And I didn't like the direction. It was a very teenage response to a lot of things to me. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. I think the world is kind of weird, this market, and I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. It just didn't hold my attention, and I was like, first of all, I'm glad I didn't pay money for it and I can just let it go. I think if I had paid money for this, I might have pushed through to read, try to finish it. But because I didn't, I felt no inclination to finish. And then really quick, I just want to say I did come to the conclusion that I am DNFing the Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. And again, this is a book that it didn't live up to what I wanted from it. And so I think a lot of people will enjoy this, but this is not the kind of urban fantasy that I enjoy. Again, I have, I'd like certain things in my urban fantasies, and I guess this just didn't, it just missed the mark on so many things. The world building is good. There is a lot of stuff in here. The characters are interesting. I'm not a huge, big person who needs a thief. Like, that's not that's not a buzzword for me. We're talking about this in my DNFs, because that's usually what happens is I find books that there's a lot of things to it that I should like, but there's always like that drawback. And the main character, she is a thief. And so there's just something about this. It's again, it's an urban fantasy, but it also, I just don't feel it goes far enough. And then it goes in directions where I didn't want it to go, kind of thing. And again, I got 73% into this. I got 281 pages out of 381, and I just don't want to pick it up. And I've given up. So it's really a gorgeous copy. I love the book itself. Is so beautiful. Like, I want to keep this so bad just for that, but I'm not. I will not be buying the second book because obviously I'm not going to read this series. I think that, again, it has to do with a woman who breaks into a house to get an object, but she doesn't know if there's a monster. And a few years before, or 20 years or something before, monsters came out of the closet, and then there was a huge war, and now they're kind of in this, there's a monster treaty which says that they can take out anybody who crosses into their territory, kind of thing, and with no questions asked, because that's part of the treaty. And she gets caught, but he decides to hire her to steal something else. And I think, as I said, I think there's so many good things in here. There's just something about its delivery, or its the way it's put together. It's not, again, I read a lot of urban fantasy over the years. I read a lot of series books that are like that, but there's something about this that just, I just don't care. And I'm really sad because, again, this is a beautiful book. And I was really looking forward to an urban fantasy that got kind of treatment like this, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm going to get rid of that and cancel my pre-order of book 2. So that's kind of where we're at on that. So let's talk about books I actually finished. Because it's been a week. Anyway, so, and again, I DNF'd the 2 books from the library on Sunday, so that was when I started my week. And then the Wren and the Holly Library, I decided a couple days ago that I was just like, we're done. Like, I'm never going back to it. Like, I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna ever go back, am I? And I didn't. And again, it's been a month since I reread the beginning, the first 120 pages, and then I continued on, and I still couldn't finish it. So anyway, it's just not the book for me. I'm not saying nobody else will like it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who like it. It's just not my kind of urban fantasy. It just didn't work. Anyway, so the first book that I did finish was A Fire at the Exposition by T.E. Kinsey. This is book 10 in the Lady Hardcastle series, mystery series. So this is a historical mystery taking place in the 1911, 1911, 1910? Like, it's in the early 19-teens. And we're following Lady Hardcastle and Flo as there is a fire at the exhibition at one of the small towns there, and a few items go missing, and a couple of them are their friends. Their stuff got taken, and then something that was really valuable as well. And it's them trying to figure everything out and how it comes together. Again, I love it because all the characters, all the people that we've met throughout the series, I listened to these on audio by Elizabeth Noland, and she is fantastic. All the voices, I know exactly who it is, and it's just so much fun. It was a good mystery because I really didn't know how it was all going to connect, and I did like the way it did. I mean, I caught it like right seconds before a reveal, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't count really, but I really enjoyed this one. So I only have one more, but a new one is coming out in May, so I'll still be 2 behind. So I'm hoping this year I can get to the 2 that are, one's out now and one will be out. And I'm hoping that this year I'll be finally caught up on Lady Hardcastle, because I think I read quite a few of these last year to try to get to the end, but I did not. So or was it the year before? I don't know. Anyway, but I've really enjoyed these historical mysteries. I would recommend them if you like humor, small town life, and also a lot of murder and adventure. I really enjoyed Lady Hardcastle. So I did listen to that. I also finished my listening to Room to Dream by David Lynch and Christine McKenna. They both did the audiobook as well. Christine McKenna would read the kind of normal, because this is a memoir of David Lynch, so she would read kind of the facts of his life, and then he would kind of do some anecdotal talking about his, like what he would write in his memoir. So it's kind of a really odd memoir because he's just doing little snippets of his life and she is doing like the factual stuff. And I really enjoyed that format. It was very different. And again, it's David Lynch, so it had to be different. I got the library book as well because I got the library, the on hold, or on the audiobook I got from Libby. So I listened to it that way. And then, oh, now I can't find any of the pictures. That's ridiculous. But see, there I have like pictures. And again, David Lynch is a film director. I'm sure everybody knows about him. Well, most people, because he has things named after him like Lynchian, because his film, the way he does things was very different. He passed away recently, and I got on the hold list because I've been meaning to read this for a while. I didn't know he had this until a year or so ago, and then I just never got around to it. And then I put my holds in once after he passed away. So anyway, it was really fascinating to read about it. There was a lot of things that I was surprised about in here just on his life that I didn't know. And then there's a lot of things that I think they kind of glossed over and didn't talk too much about. But it does go through 2018. So it was right after Twin Peaks: The Return came out. So the third season, which I have never completed. And that kind of, because I didn't get to see it because I didn't have, was it Stars? I don't remember which network did it. Anyway, I bought the DVDs after it came out, and I just have never sat down and watched it. I watched the first 2 episodes when I was on a trip to New York. I was there on a business trip, and I got to see them because the hotel had it, and so I was able to watch it because it just started. It did the first 2 episodes, and so, or had up to that, so I was able to watch that. Anyway, the point is I've never finished that, even though Twin Peaks is probably my favorite TV series of all time. I've just never finished The Return because I'm afraid. So now that I've read this, I'm going to read some of the books that Mark Frost, the other creator of Twin Peaks, did with David Lynch. I can't remember. The second book is The Final Dossier. I don't remember. The Secret History of Twin Peaks, I think is what it is. I don't know. I can't read it from here. But I've had that book on my shelf since it came out. And it came out before the TV show. And then The Final Dossier is supposed to be you read it after you watch The Return. So I think I'm going to try to do that this year. We'll see. But anyway, I really enjoyed this overall. I think you have to really like David Lynch to want to get through this. I just think it's very fascinating, his life. And he had a lot of wives. I'm just going to say that. Anyway, so, which I didn't know. I knew he had a couple, but I didn't realize how many families, how is the progression through his life. It was really interesting. And of course, about all the films and stuff. So anyway, so I did that. Then I finished, physically, I was reading A Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles through the week. I really enjoyed, this is book 2 in the Sparrow Falls series. This was another great romantic suspense. So again, adding another mystery for March Mystery Madness. This one was just as good as I think the first one, Fragile Sanctuary. I'm really excited to read the next one. And then the 4th one comes out in these new editions on Tuesday. So I'll be getting that sometime during this week. So I will probably pick up Broken Harbor, the 3rd one, here either in the next month or so. I do want to just keep reading these. These are just really good, I said, romantic suspense. This is following a woman who has run away from a really, really bad relationship with someone who has a lot of money. And so she is off grid pretty much, and she's working kind of under the table. She's being paid in cash by her employers. so that she can live, and she has set up herself to have kind of be isolated from people. And she starts making, it's hard for her to make friends this way because, again, she can't talk about why she's on the run kind of thing. But she kind of meets the family that is the found family through this group of, one's a coworker of hers who's trying to become a friend. And the guy is the adopter, one of the brothers, in the foster family that she has. And so she, okay, I am not explaining that right. Never mind. Let's just back up. Anyway, he is a contractor that and I said, he's a character we saw in the first book, and he's the foster brother to the main character of the first book, is what I'm trying to say. And then, so he's been always kind of attracted to her because she is like one of the only women who like doesn't want to give him the time of day. And he's really interested in her. Anyway, and then things just kind of course, escalate. And again, there's always the suspense part of, not everybody likes interactions. And there's a lot of red herrings in here, or a lot of things that happen at once that you're not sure if they're related or who's actually behind it. I was super surprised by the end sequence and stuff. That was just fun because I thought it was going to go one way and it went another way. And I thought, oh, well done, well played. So I did really enjoy this. So it's good romantic suspense series, I think, so far. I'm looking forward to continuing that one. Then I listened to The Curse of the Pharaohs by Elizabeth Peters. This is book 2 in the Amelia Peabody series. So I read up to book 10 or 11 many, many years ago when they were, I found the series and I read up to that point when I think 11 or I don't know if 10 or 11 had just come out. And that's as far as I got when I got up to. And then I never continued. And I don't know what happened. So it's been years. So I reread Crocodile on a Sandbank, I think last year or the year before. I can't remember which March Mystery Madness I listened to that. So I decided to listen to it again for the reread of The Curse of the Pharaohs. Because I don't know if I've ever reread this one. Because I've read the first one like multiple times because I love that book. So this is a historical mystery again. We're following Amelia. In the first book, she is newly has money and is able to travel after her father passes away. And she decides she's going to Egypt because she's been really interested in Egyptology and stuff. And she picks up a young woman on the way to become her companion. And then they get to Egypt and just mysteries ensue. It is just a fun ride. So this one is a couple years later. Their lives have progressed, and she and her well, I mean, again, if you read the book, I don't want to say, but anyway, they go back to Egypt. The people, certain people go. I don't know, maybe I can give that away. I don't know. I don't want to give anything away, but point is that there is a tomb that's being excavated, and then there's like a curse, and they get kind of drawn into it. And it is actually, it was a good mystery. As I said, I hadn't read it in a long time. I kind of remembered parts of it, but it had been, as I said, decades. So I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed that. I hope to try to continue my reread in this, maybe a couple this year, maybe, so that, maybe I can get caught up to where how far I'd read, and then actually finish the series. Because again, Elizabeth Peters has passed away, and so I do want to finish the series. And I only mean the ones that she wrote. I know that there was a few books that were continued by another writer, but I just want to read the ones that she wrote. Anyway, but I still have like 15, 20, I don't remember how many, there's a lot of books. Anyway, so I'm only on book 2 of my reread. And then the last book I finished was The Deadly Hours, which is 4 novellas by Susanna Kearsley, C.S. Harris, Anna Lee Huber, and Christine Trent. So this is 4 novellas that follow a watch. And it is kind of interesting because they all, it's like historical fiction mystery, but it also has like, there's this faint, like there's a curse to this watch. So is it really like supernatural, or is it man-made, or is it just kind of, or is it really a curse? I'm not sure. It was I really liked the first two sections, the one done by Susanna Kearsley and Anna Lee Huber. I have not read these last three authors. Susanna Kearsley is the reason why I bought the book in the first place, and I'm reading through her whole catalog, so this was the next book I needed to read. The story starts with hers called Weapon of Choice, and I really enjoyed it because it is characters from her book A Desperate Fortune that I just read a couple months ago. So does attach to that. You don't have to read it. It was just nice to see those characters again, just for a novella. It was like 85 pages. So I did enjoy that, and that's what I most enjoyed about this. I did like seeing some of these other authors. I do have a book of both C.S. Harris and Anna Lee Huber on my shelf. After reading the Anna Lee Huber one, I'm still unsure if I'm ever going to start Lady Darby's the series. I don't know. There's something about the beginning of that book that I couldn't get into when I tried it once before. And again, her writing isn't bad. I just don't know if these are characters. I don't know. I haven't decided. And the C.S. Harris one, the series I have from her was Sebastian St. Car, I think. Care or something, I don't know. So it's a different time zone. This is like this time was in 1944, which was okay. I didn't care a lot for it. I admit it, I didn't really like the Christine Trent one. I didn't finish it. I kind of skimmed and I didn't count those pages, but anyway, I didn't get much out of it, I guess, of what I read. But overall, I think it was okay. Like I said, I really enjoyed it for the first two sections, and then even the last one was fair. As I said. So it was, as I said, that's what happens when multiple writers are, in a collection. And I did like the way that the watch worked in each of the mysteries. I think that was fascinating. I think they all did a interesting, what they chose to do with that, because it had to go in a certain sequence. And it was kind of interesting. And it was through time, starting at 1733 and then 1831. And then I think it was 1870, and then 1944. So it was something close to that. Anyway, it was really fascinating. Anyway, so, but it's not one, I don't know if I'm going to keep the book, because again, I did like the novella for the Susanna Kearsley, but I don't know if I'd ever reread it. So we'll see. I might get rid of that. Anyway, so now what I'm in the middle of. So, after I finished The Deadly Hours, I decided to go straight into another mystery, and this is another series that I am trying to work my way through. This is The Village of 8 Graves by Shiichi Yokumizo. So this is the next one in the Detective Kondaichi series that came out. So what it said on Wikipedia, because I was trying to find the date of when it was actually came out, it said 1949 to 1951. So I think it was serialized. So very interesting. But it's the next one in the series. I'm trying to read what's been published and then in publication order. I guess there's like 71 books that he did of this detective. I had no idea there was that many. So I don't know how many we're going to get. Right now there are only, I think there's 5 or 6 that have been published, and or maybe there's 5 that's been published and one more, no, so there's 6 been published so far in translation, and then 1 more that's coming out this year. So again, I'm trying to get caught up so that I am, I get them as they come out, but this is my 3rd one. So I still have 3 that I haven't read that's on my shelf, but I'm really enjoying this one so far. This one has to do with some samurais who in the past, they came to this small town, this village, and they were trying to hide out because they took some money with them, and they were hiding from whoever was kind of in charge, and the villagers wanted the ransom money to find them, so they killed them. And so there's this curse of the 8 samurai who were killed. So the town was now called the Village of 8 Graves, because bad things happened after the killing. 8 more people were killed, and then decades later, another massacre happened and killed, I don't know, like 30, or not it was a lot longer than that, but another massacre happened 100 so years later, and like 32 people died. So there was 4 people killed for every grave, and it's like there's this like curse to it. Anyway, so we're following. Oh, what is his name? Sorry, Tatsuya, and he has just found out that he is somehow related to this village with the guy who kind of went crazy and killed 32 people. So he is coming back because there's an inheritance, and he's kind of not like into this because his mother had run away with him. So he doesn't know anything that's going on. They tell him, but he doesn't know what he's getting into. And the mystery is starting has the killing started again, because somehow his grandfather on his mother's side that he doesn't remember, he is poisoned, and so that is death number 1. And is this going to be another 8 that are dead, or is it going to be multiplied like the last time? And I don't know. I'm really explaining that badly, but it's just so good so far. We haven't even got Kandaichi in it yet either. I'm waiting for him to show up, because the detective usually comes in at some point, and then he is. But I like that we're getting a perspective of this character. And we also know that he is, again, he's writing the story, so we know he survives. I'm just gonna say, who's all the other people are gonna die? I don't know. I'm enjoying that. Anyway, so too much. Anyway, so I'm working on that physically. And then I have 2 audiobooks going right now because I got partway through Under a Vampire Moon by Lindsay Sands. This is book number 16 of the Argonaut Vampire series. Again, I'm trying to get my way through this book series. And again, there are good ones and bad ones, and they're not great. So I got to 166. So I am 47% of the way through. This one is following a woman who goes on vacation with her friend, and her divorce is about to be final, and she is not had the best of love lives, let's put it that way. And she meets her name's Carolyn, yeah. And then she meets Christian due to certain things, and he is of course a vampire, and he's pretty, like, he is 500 years old or whatever, but she thinks he looks 25, and she is like early 40s, and so she thinks he's robbing the cradle kind of thing, so she wants to just be friends with him. Now, the problem with this book is that at first I thought it was really interesting because they brought up her friend who she in college used to be kind of his fake girlfriend. And in this, again, this is written or published in 2012. So the term they're using is a beard. And again, it's been years since I heard that. And I'm like, wow, that dates this book. I don't know what people use it now, but we all call fakey dating and stuff. So anyway, the point is that has to do with hiding someone who, hiding that they're gay. And so I didn't like that. But so somehow she gets convinced to pretend to be his beard, or, to be that. And so that way he can get to know her. And then, but how is he going to tell her that he's not gay? And to me, it's a stupid premise. The beginning sounded really promising, and it's just kind of gone downhill. I will finish this at some point, but it's not a high priority. I mean, again, it's just the next in the series. I kind of want, this one is, again, recently has been every other one I really like, and then I don't like. So, but I will get through that one. It's just, I would say it's one of my least favorite of the series. Not the lowest, but really close. So I had trouble with that one. So of course I picked up a G.A. Aiken book. Light My Fire is the next one in the Dragonkin series. I think this is 7. Yes. So this is 7. I need to read the novellas that I found, but they're all on my ebook. So I didn't feel like that, but audiobook wise, I got this from the library. So I thought, I'll just listen to this. And alrighty, I just love J.A. Aiken. So hilarious. So these are fantasy romances. I think these ones came out, I think this is 2016? No, 2014. So again, I'm behind on my series. Anyway, so this one is following, how does he say his name? Selin. And he is a guard for the Queen Dragon, who is his aunt. And he gets sent on this mission with a person from a different part of this fantasy world who they want to make an alliance with. And of course, they're just already at each other's throats, and just everything's just hilarious. I just love these books because they're absolutely crazy. You can't go into them expecting like it all to make sense, and you can't expect them to act rationally. These people are nuts, and it's just so much brutal. They hurt each other, they throw each other around, but they're like dragon shifters, so they can take the damage. I just love these books. Anyway, so I read a little bit this morning, but I'm probably like 80 pages in. So I got quite a ways to go, but I'm enjoying that. So anyway, those are all of which I am talking way too much today. So just really quick, what I might read this week. I did want to pick up the last of the Fable bind-ups that I have on my shelf. I want to at least finish this one. I do want to kind of read the whole Fables graphic novel series. So again, I reread book 1 and 2, and then I read the book 3 that I'd never read in June with the amazing readathon. So I do want to read this one, which is book 4, which I own. So it's the last one I own. So I want to make sure I get to this. I put it next to me to kind of read one day, but I haven't felt like it yet. But these are like fairy tales have been pushed out of their own homes, and they are all come to New York. Most of them live in the city a lot. Then there's some who live out in the ones who can't pass as human are out on a farm in rural New York. And so they and again, it's kind of, so there's like Snow White, and there is the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood and that kind of stuff. Like there's other characters too, and like really bad marriages and things. And but there's mysteries usually involved and violence. Anyway, I want to read that one to at least get the last of my books off my shelf. And then I might pick up Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris. This is a historical, how would I say it? Historical fiction mystery, maybe? I don't know why my phone is going off. Sorry. This is a historical mystery, but it has like literary offspring, like from Sherlock Holmes and from Dracula. Their kids are going on a mission to Paris where there's something killing men in the, I don't know if it's in the sewers or in the catacombs. I'm not sure where exactly yet. I did read about 20 pages one night, and then the next day I didn't feel like this was the book to be reading, so I switched to The Deadly Hours. But I do want to come back to this. I just haven't had a chance because it's so cool looking. And again, these two women are going on this mission. So anyway, I'm just really excited for this. I just said I have to be in the right mood for this. So this might happen this week. We'll see. It just depends on how I feel. But it's another, as I said, I'm gonna classify it as a mystery because, again, they're going to try to solve murders, and but it has kind of a literary tint to it. So it's not quite like the Athena Club, because this is only two women, and it's also because it's just different. It's I don't know. We'll see how it goes. As I said, I only read 20 pages, so I'm not gonna make too much on that. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I think that is it. I think I've done. I've talked a lot. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but I just want to get this done and up. I'm probably going to go to Barnes & Noble this afternoon. I admit it. They're having a stamp sale, or, 3 times stamp if you buy today. So I might just go. There's a romance or two that I was looking at that's next in in series that I want. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that. I feel like, I am almost complete with my book inventory. I knew I forgot to say something earlier. I have done all the books that are upstairs. I have to now lug them upstairs because that took a lot. Anyway, so I finished yesterday everything that was was book. So I just have my manga to actually, just to put on my spreadsheet. They're all read because they're all ones I've read, but they count. Anyway, my number is a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. But I will reveal that at some other time. But the point is that I'm really close to being done. I'm hoping if I don't finish the manga today, because I don't know if I really feel like I worked on it for like 4.5 hours yesterday. And again, I got a lot done, but I just now got to lug all the books upstairs. And then, as I said, so manga is the last thing to do. And then I think then I'll be done. And I'll have a number of what my how much of the books in my in my house how many are TBR books and how many I have already read. And I really want to see, I'm hoping for 50%, but I'm not sure I'm going to make it. I'm kind of worried. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it. What are you guys reading? How is your week going? How's everything else? Just let me know. Anyway, sorry this was a really long one. I did get through a lot. I did DNF a lot. It's been a weird week. So we will see how the next week's go. I'm almost sure that I will not read as much. I might listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I probably will not read as much physically because I just don't know how exhausted I'll be every night when I get home if I have to go to the other location every day. And if I have to drive the F-250, I'll definitely be tired. So we'll see how much next week. Probably not that much. So we will see what happens. Anyway, let me know how you're doing, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.